I hope this is an okay background. I got the pull sticks and
yeah, it's all right. So we're live. Hi everybody. My name is Ben Songroth, and I'm an instructor with EdTechTeacher.
Okay background. I got the pull sticks.
Okay. Here we go. I'm an instructor with EdTechTeacher, and we're here today to talk about Formative and their V2, their new version that they're releasing, and all the updates and everything that's great about that. And I'm here with some fellow EdTechTeacher instructors and David from Go Formative, so it's exciting. If everybody wants to maybe go around and introduce themselves first, and then I'll go ahead and kind of just launch into what we're going to talk about today. Anissa, why don't we start with you, and then we'll go Avra, Brenda, and David. So.
Right. Hi, everybody. My name is Anissa Labrador. I'm in Tampa, Florida. I am an EdTechTeacher online and face-to-face instructor, and it's great to be here with everybody today.
All right. Great. Anissa, thanks for joining us. Hi, everybody. My name is Avra Robinson, and I am the Director of Online Learning for EdTechTeacher, as well as an instructor. And I'm super excited here to talk about one of my favorite tools, Formative, today. So thanks for having us.
Hi, my name's Brenda Doucette, and I'm here in Natick, Massachusetts, and I am an online instructor for EdTechTeacher as well, and I'm a instructional technology specialist for the Newton Public Schools. So I'm thrilled to be here.
Hey everyone, I'm David. I'm the community manager of Formative, and before that I taught special education in New York at a middle school. So just really happy to help share our new version, which we're really excited to have just recently released.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us today. So just quickly want to talk about some of the cool things that I know I've seen teachers use Formative for, some ways that I've envisioned using it myself in the classroom. I think it's great. So one of the things that I look at when I'm looking at using technology in the classroom, the way that I've seen it explained to me, and then also kind of just the click that I had when I was teaching with it. One of the things that happens when you leverage technology appropriately in the classroom is that you close a feedback loop. And so you can do a lot of really cool things with technology in the classroom. I'm sure those of you that teach with it already do that. I've seen it across the country when I work with teachers. But the thing that really makes it effective is when you have the ability to give feedback to students quickly, efficiently, and in ways that they can then change their learning on that topic. And I think Formative is just an awesome tool and resource that allows you to do that. And with their new V2 updates, it's even better now that you can do that. I mean, the real-time feedback that you can give kids, the ways that you can see them interacting with the content live is just a fantastic way to provide that feedback for those students. I know every time I demo it and I put teachers in as students, and then I get to give them real-time commenting, I can see what they're doing, I can make sure they're on the right track. The power of learning is just grown exponentially. Now also with the ability with Formative to tie in state standards, you're going to be able to see student growth in those standards as the kids go through, and every time you tie a new Formative to those standards, you're going to be able to see how they do. So that tracking piece is just going to be really, really powerful. So I want to open it up to the panel real quick, so I'm not just hogging the camera here, to see if Brenda or Avra or Anissa, if you guys have any other experiences when you show teachers Formative, or how you're seeing it being positively used in the classroom or with your workshops.
Yeah, Ben, I think you kind of covered everything, but I think just the excitement that teachers have whenever you first let them be students, they just kind of get that feeling, especially when you do like the show your work. It's so powerful to be able to take just a quick overview, glance at all of your students at once and just see everything that's happening. It's like being able to clone yourself, basically, is kind of how I always feel about it. So it's, super powerful.
Oh, I'd like to add too. Can you see me?
Yep.
Okay, great. I'd like to add that the ability to create classes is really a game changer, especially at the middle school level where teachers are seeing different classes during the day. It's just great that they can just pull that up, give the students feedback, and have all their classes nice and organized, and have that ability, as you said, to track the students.
Awesome.
Yes, and I also wanted to add, as far as that immediate feedback, it is so important for student learning for them to receive that feedback as quickly as possible, so that if they misunderstand something that they've learned, they can go back and be redirected and relearn that material quickly before it gets stored into that long-term memory and it's harder for them to unlearn it.
Great. Yeah, and Formative is such a powerful tool to be able to do all of those things that we've talked about. And so now, David, I want to turn it over to you. I understand we're going to be able to kind of play school here. So this is exciting for me to become a student again and not have anything directly tied to it, so I don't have a failing grade or anything. So I hope you're not actually going to record these grades later on. But I'll turn it over to you now and lead us through our activity for today so we can see what's going on.
Yeah, awesome. Well, just first want to say I love the points that you guys brought up. You know, for the past 2 years, we've helped teachers collect those live responses, and I love how you put it, Avra, clone yourself. And so you can be all around the classroom helping different students and giving that instant feedback. And also, yes, the ability to create classes is just so useful and practical. And yeah, in a moment, we're going to get to not only allow everyone to take a formative, anyone who's watching the webinar and who's part of this webinar, but also see that student growth tracking, see your own growth towards standards. So to start, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And I think for just a moment, let's see. Let's just take a look at our homepage, because it's always nice to take a look at when people are brand new to formative. And even if you're not brand new to formative, we've got some really exciting updates about our new version. So just to help make what we were talking about a little bit more visual, here's basically a formative view set up, and we're viewing responses come in for question number 1 here, and we can see them come in live. And so that way you can jump to certain students and help them in person or give them instant feedback and scores. So yeah, and we also have this summary view, which allows you to track student progress across questions as well. And because you're able to tag questions to standards, like we're creating a question right here and you're able to tag it to standards, you can actually track individual student growth on those specific standards for those students over time. So to show you what this really looks like right now, I'm going to go ahead and just sign in. And so I just signed in as a teacher. And just for my dashboard, I'm going to click into a formative. And here's the formative I've set up. And before we continue, I know there's some people watching out there, and there's a live chat feature, so feel free to introduce yourself there. I know Cheryl from our team, she's awesome. She's there, and she's happy to chat with you guys, and perhaps Ben and everyone else, maybe we can answer some questions as we go along too. Does that sound good?
I'm actually in there as EdTechTeacher right now answering some questions. So
sweet. And if there's any good ones to just bring to the webinar for people watching later, feel free to verbalize them so we can make sure to answer them. So I'm about to assign this formative, and so here are just some advanced features I can use. And so once you assign your formative, you can go ahead and have students join. And so everyone out there in our Google Hangout right now, what you can do is you can go to goformative.com, and I'll actually pull this up to show you. You go to goformative.com. We'll do this side by side. And you're going to see in the top right of the page, there's this join code page that you can click on. I'll do that one more time. So the top right of the page, you can just click on join code. And then you can enter the code that you see here. You can even, just enter it right there. When you're assigning to students, just for convenience, you can also just give them a link they can use to access that same page, or visit Google Class, or you can also post to Google Classroom as well, that same link, or you can even embed the formative into a site. So I'll give everyone a moment to just enter that code. And then you can enter any name. So if you guys don't want me to collect your growth, your actual growth, maybe you can enter, you know, your favorite cartoon character or your favorite movie character, or just any sort of alias. And Ben and Avra and everyone, let me know. Brenda, let me know when you're ready to go.
I am in.
Okay.
I'm in also.
Awesome. So when you enter your formative, just to show everyone that's not taking the formative, you're going to see that, you know, as a student, you're able to respond to these questions that we've set up. And then as the teacher, if we switch over here now, I can already start to see some responses coming in. So it looks like Anissa right there has started to respond to question 1. And then we can see Ben's response coming in as well. So this is the beauty of it, right? Your students don't have to press submit to see, to show you their responses. As they're thinking, as they're verbalizing or writing their thinking, you're able to see it come in live. Just that really tap into student thinking here. We're just viewing question 1 right now, but at any time we could switch over to another question. Also up here, we've got this helpful progress bar, which shows ungraded responses and also correct responses that we've marked.
Hey, David,
So,
can I ask you a question quick? This is Avra.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And maybe this is just something that would help anyway. I was answering questions in the chat and didn't get a chance to see the code. So is there a way to let students join? Like,
oh, totally.
And could you show me the code again?
Yeah, and maybe I think Cheryl's watching out there, or anyone, if you could post this code in the chat, it might be helpful for people that want to jump in. And that brings up a great idea. I think it'd be really awesome in the future if you could just pop out this assign panel and just sort of put it to the side for students who are still joining.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, great. You got it. So I'm just going to jump to question 2 right now. And this is a drawing response question. Actually, it's a show your work question where students can draw their responses, but they can also type on the canvas and they can insert images as well. It's a really versatile way to capture student thinking. And so I'm seeing Ben's response right here. He's being asked to represent that ratio. So Jason made 12 times as many pies as Andrew did during baking class. So that's awesome. He's making a really visual response here. I can see the 12 pies that Jason made and the 1 pie that Andrew made.
I'll point out that one of the cool things that I love about Formative is that I just did that on my iPad, and there's going to be a lot of people that are doing it on a PC or on a Mac or on a Chromebook, and you know the device, you know, the ability to do it across devices is so powerful in all of these different learning environments. So so I'm using my handheld device to do that right now.
Thanks. And to add on, yeah, we want GoFormit.com to work on any internet connected device. And then maybe a little further down the line, we can also explore like an iPad or an Android app, just for some, you know, of the native benefits there. So at any time, just if I'm looking at Ben's response right here, or even Ava's, that's an interesting response. I can send instant written feedback. So great visual way to represent that ratio. And as soon as I send this, I don't know, Ben, if you want to project your screen, or sorry, share your screen, as soon as I send this to Ben, it's going to show up directly beneath the response, his response on his end. So as a student, he can read that feedback, read that information, and use it to learn more. And so I can also jump over to Avra here and also ask her, what specific questions. What? This is an interesting one. I might come over to Ava and have a one-on-one conversation in person if that's quicker, you know, but maybe sometimes it's easier to give instant written feedback. So I might say, I think in this case, it actually would make sense to just walk over to Ava, because while you're able to give feedback to students, written feedback, we're still working on the ability for students to respond back with a reply, but that should be coming pretty soon.
I'm gonna mirror my iPad, but we're decided to not work right now, so unfortunately, I can't demo that.
Oh yeah, that's right, the iPad. Yeah.
Yep.
Gotcha. So you can also score student response, and we're also going to be, working on different ways to score a response. So actually rubric-based grading based on specific standards. But for now, you can just set a question out a certain number of points and award points. And this last one is actually an auto-scored question. It's which of the following do not produce spores? And so students were asked to check off the types of plants that do not produce spores. And so I'm actually reply to Anissa right here and say, what? I said, great, that's one of the plants that do not produce spores. What other ones do not? And so once again, you've got this great progress bar, and looking at it, you can see it updates in real time to show how many students have responded to the question correctly, incorrectly, and it even shows partially correctly, but for this question, it's either correct or incorrect. And so right now as a teacher, I know I might need to, revisit this question with the class, or at least these students that I'm seeing the red responses for. And what I can do at any time is I can go to this totals or summary view and zoom out, and I see all my students in this list, and I can see their progress across questions. So for example, Jonathan Rollins right here, you got all 3 questions marked correct. And I can easily cycle through student responses here. So what if I jump down to Brenda down here? I'm interested in seeing your responses, Brenda. So awesome. You can see you've got this side panel which allows you to easily navigate between student responses across questions. And so this view is really awesome for getting a bird's eye view of progress. And so it helps you identify trends in learning. Like once again, question 3 is one I might want to revisit. Also that I got to take a closer look at these ungraded responses to see what's going on there. And a lot of teachers will use this to inform, the grouping of students, matching students who got questions correct with students who got questions incorrect, or other ways to use this high level insight. So another popular way that teachers use this live responses page is actually they'll project these responses, and even they can hide names even, and students can see their own progress across questions as they're responding, so they can help pace their own learning. And another way they use this is for enriching class discussion. So you actually have that option of hiding names or showing names, but when you're projecting responses, you can pull one up and allow students to take over and discuss their responses or their peers' responses. So that's probably one of my favorite aspects about what we've been doing, is helping students find that voice in the conversation, helping students become more comfortable with discussing mistakes and learning from mistakes and learning from their peers, whether they're right or wrong.
And David, as a point to that, I was teaching with iPads back as a high school history teacher, and I didn't have Formative yet because you guys didn't exist, but I used something similar. And you know, the power of this is now more advanced than what I was using. And the way that I love seeing kids be able to look at the responses as a whole without having all their student names up there, but then we could go through collectively as a class, and it spurred on some great discussion because we could see what areas of improvement the entire class needed on that particular question or standard. In the case now with formative, that you can tie that standard in. And it really allowed me to sit down as a teacher with the students and kind of guide that discussion. Like, okay, what did we miss in this concept? You know, like what did I, you know, self-reflecting as an educator, I could say, what did I not get across to my students? Like, how can I help them get better? And we could have that conversation as a whole unit, which was really cool. It also allowed me as a teacher to watch the student progress go through, and I knew maybe if one question seemed to be taking longer than others for students to go through, or you know, something like that. It was awesome to be able to see that in real time and have those conversations right away. You know, that whole feedback loop that we talked about right at the beginning. You can have your students get done with an assessment, and then the next thing you know, boom, you're right in on it. You're able to, you know, discuss it, break it down. It's not going to take you 6 days to grade a stack of papers that's sitting on your desk this high and get that information back out to the kids. So, you know, that's something that I love that you guys have included now with this piece, to be able to show that to the students and get that real time feedback right back to the class immediately.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. And I think one point you touched upon is just, and the next part is being able to track that student growth on standards. Because I think, as you noticed as we were demoing together, right, like it's more about right or wrong, right? It's more about red or green. But what are the concepts associated with these questions that we need to explore? Those insights are going to be what's more powerful to helping inform your both day-to-day instruction and long-term planning. Were there any questions out there from the YouTube live cast that would be good to answer at this point? Or let's see.
I'll go back through. I see one maybe. People are really doing a good job of like jumping in and answering a lot of people's questions right away. The one question here is, what is it? Set up an iPad to log in as quickly as possible. It was responded to with the Google login is a great feature for that. But I don't know if you have any other. The question then goes on, most of my guys will open up a browser, then Google search for formative, misspell it, try again, click on the link in the bio, search results. Middle school boys. So is there any quick and easy way to get maybe a group of middle schoolers efficiently to the formative that you've seen?
Right.
You know, I think just putting the website as a link on the homepage of the iPad. I don't know if I'm saying that right, Ben, but you know what I mean? Like if they're having trouble just navigating to the formative site because they're spelling it wrong, they just need to get them there once, and then just have them add that website to the homepage of the iPad, and it'll look like an app, and they can just have them tap on it next time. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, totally. There's the option just to make desktop icons, right? So you can make formative icon on their iPad home screen.
If you're on an iPad, or just bookmark it if you're on a computer.
Right, totally. And also just, you know, embedding it in any sort of site, or just posting that link to Google Classroom. There's a couple different ways. But awesome. So I wanted to show you guys, as you were responding to those questions, actually what I had done beforehand is I tag those questions to standards. Right? So if we go back, we're going from viewing the responses to how we set up this formative. We can see for this first question, right, it was that English question about inserting commas. I was actually able to tag it to 2 Common Core 5th grade ELA standards about commas. So even to back up a little further, as a teacher, you can go to your profile and pick what standards you want to be able to choose from. So those are the standards I wanted to show up every time I went to go tag a question. But there's more that you can select as well. And we're actually going to be adding many more in the coming weeks. So just based on the feedback of our users. So just to jump back in there, though, with that question with commas, I tagged it to comma standards. I just simply tagged in comma, and then was able to find all the standards that have that word in the description, so I can easily narrow down to tagging the right standard or standards to my question. And I tag this question to a 6th grade ratio standard, and I tag this question to a 3rd grade Pennsylvania science standard. And because I was scoring your guys' responses, actually, I have a little bit more work to do here. But because I'm scoring student responses, I'm able to view their individual progress across standards in the tracker. So just to show you that again, from your dashboard, soon you'll be able to just click on tracker, and just like I have here, you'll be able to see a standards and tags view, which you're able to see the standards we've tagged to questions in the past. We can see the overall averages, and we can see for individual students how they're progressing their averages on those specific standards. So for example, you guys aren't part of any of my classes, but I would be able to narrow down, just see progress by class. But let's just take Ben, for example. We got for that 3rd grade science standard, I can see he's got a 0 so far for just that one standard. But remember, we've only asked Ben one question on the standard. So as we ask more questions and change the complexity of questions, his average will change. And same with that 6th grade ratio standard and those 5th grade ELA standards. Yeah. So yeah, this is right now. This is the tracker. Is you're able to. Right now, premium users have early access to the tracker, but very soon we're going to open up the tracker for everyone to use, to be able to look back at data that's been aggregated over the past couple of weeks. So, did you guys have any? Yeah.
Question in the chat from Julie, and she's asking if you could. Is there a way to set up your own standards as a user? Can you input your own standards? Katie follows up with, many schools are moving to standards-based grading and essential skills, and so she was wondering if that's a possibility.
Right. Yeah. So right now, there is no way to do that, but we are definitely considering allowing teachers to upload standards, building in a feature to allow for that, or just creating new skills or standards on the fly. So you can actually see that we're headed in that direction because there's that word tags there. That's actually that means, like, if you label a formative with as classwork or as a do now or as just a check for understanding. But you can see there's this idea where it's not just going to be standards that we make available to you, but we also, as a premium feature down the line, want teachers to be able to upload their own standards. And with that, we are listening to our premium community right now in terms of prioritizing what standards we add in here.
I think that's one of the things that I've loved about your company, David, is just that it seems like you're so responsive to people's suggestions. I mean, it just seems like Formative is a tool that is just growing and growing and getting better and better. And I definitely think, you guys respond. I mean, like when people are asking for stuff. So I think, just to tell our audience, definitely giving you guys feedback. Is there an ideal way to give you guys feedback? I mean, is there a, what I'm saying, like a link or an email or a way to do it? I've never done it myself. So.
We're pretty open to just a lot of different channels. I think to start, over our site, I can even show this to you right now. We've got this, when you sign in, you're going to see this little chat icon down here, and you're able to, this is actually our test site, but if you'll see this little icon down here, and you can send us a message. And so you can see we use a third-party messenger, but it shows that we typically reply in just a few hours.
Yeah, it's true. I have done that. You guys do. You reply really quickly. That's true.
Yeah. And on top of that, as well, Twitter as well is a great place that we love to connect with educators. Also, we've got a couple different places. We've got our forum within our community site, which is more of a place for teachers to chat with each other, I'd say, and we jump in there as well. And yeah, and even more so, like, I'd say you had asked one of the best places. I think over the site is the best, because we're able to just track our conversation and track your feedback that way really easily. So we can prioritize certain features. And then from there, from those conversations, we always love to hop on, a phone call or a Google Hangout with users to troubleshoot anything or to just have a conversation around what they want in the future. So because this is the product of teacher feedback, really. We even have, on our community site, we even have the option to sign up for a feedback session. So you can meet with our design team and we can show you some of the latest things that we're working on. And we use your feedback to improve our features. So, or just create new features entirely. So a couple different options there. I kind of wanted to come back here for a second to actually pulled up a different account that has a little bit more data in it. You can see more standards. Did you guys have any thoughts about the tracker or how you'd use it or anything you'd like to see?
Go ahead, Brenda, if I saw you unmuted, so.
It's a lot to take in at first sight, but I can see if it were my students' names in there, how it would make a lot more sense to me. I like how it's color-coded. It's easy just to kind of track right across and see how the students are doing. I am curious, if you, for example, gave a second a formative to a certain student or to a class, and it related to the exact same standards as one you had done previously. Let's just look at the first person here, Sally. If they improve, will it automatically update on the tracker?
Yes. You broke up for a second, but if I understood you correctly, as we're asking more students questions tagged to this same standard, this one standard.
Yes.
As Sally's responding to more questions tagged to that standard, her progress is going to update in their tracker based on the scores you're giving her on her formatives, on her questions. So it's taking away that, it's really connecting that assessment process, that single assessment, that single instance of gathering student insights and acting on it to the student growth tracking part of teaching, right? There's no data entry necessary. You just tag questions to standards, and because you're scoring student responses on those standards, you're able to just instantly automatically track their progress on those standards. So we started to call it maybe like a Fitbit for teaching in a sense. So you can get a good gauge of what concepts you can work on teaching better for your students, or what concepts you need to perhaps revisit with individual or small groups of students.
No, I think making those connections is very important, connecting with the standards. Can I jump someplace else here? Do you mind if I ask you,
Oh, yeah.
go back a little bit? You notice that community, the Go Formative community, and I'm really interested in taking a look at that. Can you talk to us about sharing some of these formatives that are already made? How is this? How do teachers share? And, you know, so everyone's not recreating the wheel.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, it was.
That.
Yeah. So right now it's nothing fancy. It's just you just click on the library tab and it's an embedded Google spreadsheet, and you're able to narrow down to a specific subject. So let's just say science, for example, and then you can see formatives here by grade level. Okay. We definitely have the most formatives for math right now. It just happens to be the case. And to grab a formative, you can just scroll down to your grade level, look over at the type of formative it is, and also the types of what it's about, basically. I should say skills, but there's other information in here. And then you're able to just simply click on the link to the side, and then you can clone it right to your dashboard. So you have a copy of it. And you're able to, since it's a copy, it's like a photocopy, right? You can do anything you want with it. You can edit it. You can delete it if you want. It won't affect the original author's formative. But right now, this is just a beta library, right? It's been great for helping teachers that just want to get some inspiration when they start to use formative. But moving forward, we're going to be creating a internal library within formative. So I can actually show that to you guys really quickly. If we click here. And part of that is, you know, we get a lot of, this library is the product of our community, right? The majority of these formatives come from our users, right? So they submit their formatives directly here just by filling out a short form with information. But we really want to start to set some expectations in terms of the quality of formatives that are recommended in our library. So we're working with our formative educators right now on developing the criteria to do that, which might involve depth of knowledge levels, making sure that questions have a variety of depth of knowledge levels that they hit. There might be other measures as well. We're really relying on not only our own teaching experience, but so much more on just the teaching experience of our community. So you're definitely going to see in our new library, there's going to be more content that's really reviewed and recommended based on use. So not sure why it's taking so long to load, but let's see. There might be another page where you can do this as well. Do you guys have any questions about the library in the meantime, or any questions out there from the live chat? Let's see. This is actually what I wanted to show you. So computer's being a little bit slow right now, but you can see basically it's just going to be another tab within your formative account that you're able to visit, and you're going to be able to once again search by subject, right, and find formatives, but also be able to search by tag or by standard or by skill for specific formatives. And you can see that piece about making sure that we have excellent resources within our library. We're going to be definitely setting up a means of having vetted resources. So did you guys have any thoughts about the library, or just sharing resources?
Well, I think it's a great thing to have, because as I said before, you don't have to start from the beginning. You don't have to start from scratch. And I also like to look at what other people have created, get some ideas. So I'm really looking forward to the library and checking it out. Could you tell me again how I get a a formative that's already created into my dashboard, or how?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So if we go back to the library for a moment, you can just find any formative that you'd like under the subject, and then you can just simply click on that first link that you see there.
I see. Okay.
And it's just it's the same link that you can use from your own teacher dashboard to share a formative with another colleague of yours.
I see.
And so you just click clone and then you add it to your dashboard. And you can see, actually, I've added it twice, but you're gonna see the formative here.
Because I can see, grade level departments and things like that, and departments that want to share formatives, just sending out the links and sharing it with each other. That's terrific.
Oh, definitely, yeah. That touches on some of the premium and advanced features that we want to offer for partner schools. Like we do have options for having a common assessments library that an administrator is able to manage across grade levels and learning teams and subgroups. So yeah, that's everyone can share formatives, any user, but there's some advanced features that make it even easier and easier to communicate about for schools.
Thank you.
That is excellent, David. It is great to know that there's a big sharing community out there. For anybody that's joining us today that's maybe new to formative, can you show the teacher perspective and how to create a formative for their students?
Oh, totally. Yeah, so let's come over here. So let's just start with the new formative altogether. So we could just give it all we need to do to create a new formative is click on new formative at the top of your teacher dashboard, and then you can either leave the title if you're just sort of experimenting, or you can give it a title that your students will be able to see and you'll be able to see. So this is off the top of my head entirely: rainbow density lab. So and then you can pick, you can label the formative. So it goes back to that tabs, that idea of tags. So I might label it as a lab. And then to add a question, you just simply click on this plus button right here. And this menu pops up. And you're able to add content for your students to refer to or questions for them to respond to. And so one feature that teachers really love, especially when they're starting to use formative, is the upload and transform feature. Have you guys used this in the past?
Yeah, the upload and transform, I think, is one of the most powerful features that you guys offer. The ability to bring in anything you want and have it become an interactive question is just amazing.
It is. I agree. Ben, that's one of the things that teachers just go nuts about. I mean, and I think it's kind of what sets formative apart from other formative assessment tools that are out there, because I really haven't found a way to do this easily. From my perspective, I know that we want our biggest goal is to transform learning and make it, more creative on the student end. But the reality is that teachers have spent hours, months, days, months, years of their life creating assessments and creating activities for students already, and to be able to bring them in digital is a great first step to utilizing technology in the classroom.
I'm not sure if it was me, if I had some slow connection there, but it was pretty choppy for me on my end. Is that me, or were you guys able to hear that clearly?
It was a little choppy for me too, David.
Okay. I started to hear the first part, which I'm glad you love the upload and transform.
Yeah, bottom line is I think it's great.
Awesome. Yeah, so you can just choose a file from your computer, whether it's a PDF or a doc or an image, and upload it right to your formative. Just for the sake of this demo, I'm just gonna log into another account where I've added a nice one. So signing in here. Sorry, let's see. All right, so just to show you an example of that, once you click in to add a document to your formative, it'll upload just like this. So I decided to upload just a short PDF page of just the first page of The Great Gatsby. And what you can do is you can add questions directly on top of that document. So maybe I just want to ask one question about this reading passage here. And so I just added one question, but let's say I want to add another one. All I need to do as a teacher is click and add a second question that students can respond to related to that reading passage. Another example of this that we see often in math or other subjects as well is teachers will have pre-existing graphic organizers or worksheets that they can upload here. And you start with a worksheet that's just a piece of paper, and you have a digital version. You upload it here. And what's awesome about it is it turns into much more than just a worksheet, because by digitizing it and adding these questions right on top, you're able to gather those live responses, right? So you're not, as Ben mentioned, waiting until days, a week later to review and respond to student insights, but you're able to actually jump in right there and turn what you would have used with that worksheet into something that's actually really, really formative and quicker in terms of speeding up the feedback. Sorry, I kind of went off on a little tangent there, but that's just one option. You can upload a document, add a question on top. You can also, if we go back to our formative, you can also add any of these question types. Was there one that you guys wanted to see in particular?
I think you've pretty much hit on the ones that are, super useful. The show in the actual, formative, when you did the show your work one and everything like that. So. Oh
yeah. And even I could.
Or maybe an audio response.
I was thinking that too.
Oh, audio response.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so that's actually one of our premium advanced features, but I can definitely show that to you. Let's see. So if we go over here, I'm just signing into a different account that has the premium features. And we create a new formative, we can see that's now available. I can click on it, and then you can simply prompt your students to provide a verbal response here. So I might ask, say, I am super hungry, and I would like to eat a giant cookie in Spanish. And so, you prompt your students to respond verbally, right? So if we jump over to the preview page, which, for new users, this is awesome, right? You're able to create questions like this, tag them to standards. And then you can see what it'll actually look like for students to take. For this particular audio response question, students can simply click on this button and just record their response. So I need to brush up on my Spanish a little bit, but yo tengo hambre. Yo quiero comer galleta gigante. Una galleta gigante. I don't know.
Muy bien, David.
Yeah. So it takes a couple moments to save your response, and then as the teacher, once that response saves, you're able to review it from your teacher dashboard. So I can play it back. I hope it's. Can you guys? But you get the idea, right? You're able to listen back to your students' audio responses there, what they've recorded. And,
That's terrific.
I can see teachers also using this in addition to other questions, like perhaps you ask them to multiply, 2-digit by 3-digit number and show their work by drawing their response. And then, you could have them actually explain how they actually, solved a math problem verbally, because some students prefer that over actually writing out, an explanation. It helps them think through what they've done.
That is an excellent feature to get students to think about processes and making their thinking visible. So I really like that feature a lot. So you said that this was a premium feature. Could you go over the structure of what that premium subscription looks like?
Yeah, sure. So it's actually pretty simple. Formative has been completely free for the past 2 years, and we just started to roll out premium, and it just adds on to what's free already. It's and allows teachers and schools to dig deeper. So specifically, we have 2 plans which you can view within. If you just click on your initials, you can go down to plan/billing, and you can see our 2 plans that we offer. And one is a premium teacher plan for an individual teacher to purchase or have their administrator purchase for them. And then we have a school plan. And so in terms of the premium teacher plan, you can see the differences right here. The first one is those advanced question types that you have access to. And we've added 3 really awesome ones so far, but we're going to continue to add many, many more. I'm not sure if you guys heard about it, but we just we're partnering up with Desmos to add a graphing question type to Formative, which will allow students to use the Desmos graphing calculator, and whatever they do on it will show up in Formative live, just like a show your work response, just like a drawing coming in live.
I'm pretty certain that every math teacher is cheering right now. That's fantastic.
I was just thinking the same thing. We work with teachers across the country, and gosh, the math teachers are always the hard ones to please, because there's so much on paper and pencil that you do with math, and so trying to take the math into the technology world is always a tough sell. So that's fantastic.
Thanks. Yeah, and that actually reminds me, with our new version for all users, we do have a equation editor now, which allows you to create K-text. It's just math text, and include it in your question. So it's pretty basic right now. You need to look at the list of commands to enter something, but basically you can see here it's a little bit like coding. Hopefully a little bit easier than that, but you can see it's as simple as just editing this block, and you can simply just click to show it, and that way your students can see that math text as they're responding to questions. So it's a solve for add these fractions. Right. So it's very basic, but further down the line, we want to make it a button-based equation editor. Perhaps that'll be easier for lots of schools and for lots of teachers and students. We also want students to be able to use an equation editor to respond to questions as well. So that feature is awesome for math as well. And in terms of other differences with premium, I touched upon this before, but you know, like I mentioned, the tracker right now, premium users have early access to it, and we're also going to be opening it for all teachers to use. And the distinction there is, whereas all teachers will be able to look back at data that's been aggregated over the past few weeks, premium users will be able to look back at data that's been aggregated over an unlimited time period. So, for example, from September till June, how have your students progressed over every learning standard or skill you've assessed them on? Which also is the distinction between free and premium that allows for deeper insights here. Like you'll be able to click into a specific cell and see, or as actual responses from September till June over time.
Excellent. David, I was looking back at the live chat, and we have a couple of questions from the self-proclaimed cranky math teachers, because they've called themselves that. They want to know if there's any integration with GeoGebra and if latex code can be imported.
Cool. So GeoGebra, we love GeoGebra as well. It was GeoGebra, right?
Yes.
That's another really powerful tool for math. Currently, what you can do, I still think you can do this unless they've changed anything. Another great feature that also touches on is our embed feature. And so, for example, if we go to GeoGebra calculator, I think, or graphing, you can actually embed the graphing calculator for students to use while they take a formative. So this is just one example of something you can embed, but a lot of teachers find this useful so that they don't have to have their students do this navigation like I'm doing right now. They can just use the calculator as it's embedded into the formative. Yeah, I'd love to hear what makes GeoGebra so awesome for those teachers. So if you're using a live chat right now, it'd be really great if you could just share what you love doing with GeoGebra, and we can see if there's any overlap with what we're doing with Desmos and just compare and see what we can make possible. So yeah, are there any other questions out there that you guys noticed so far?
There was a questions about
so many tabs open.
Yes, you are tabalicious right now, as Avra likes to say. There was a question about latex code.
Oh, yes.
Latex code.
Yeah, latex code. Well, definitely not the expert here. I think we use KTeX right now for equation editor, right? But I'll definitely share that with our team of developers to see if that's a possibility.
Excellent.
I'd also
sure,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No worries. I was going to say, I'm sure that those teachers chatting live appreciate all the answers to their questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And I can post this resource later on Twitter. It's basically just Wikibooks with the list of commands you can use to enter to generate that math text. It's actually kind of fun. You just kind of look up, something you want to enter, and then you can sort of learn certain commands to put together for that. It's easier than I'm making it look, though. You get some nice examples here. Yeah. I know you guys also mentioned the classes, right? So I also want to take a moment to touch upon that. Huge new feature. You're able to import classes from Google Classroom right now, which is awesome if your teacher Classroom is new to formative. So you've got your Google Classroom set up. You just created your formative account. You can simply click on classes and click on import from Google Classroom. And then you just click on your profile, you sign in, and what it'll do is it'll import all of your Google Classroom classes and as well as your student accounts. So you'll be able to see, now your students are able to log into Formative with their same Google Classroom credentials. So they don't need to learn a whole new set of credentials. And with that, you can also, obviously you can reset passwords from within Google Classroom, but you also have the option of creating a secondary password for Formative if you'd like. And yeah, in terms of logging into Formative, all your students will need to do is just like you, click on Google Login and just sign in right there. And even if you don't use Google Classroom, there's some new really awesome features as well. So you're able to create a class and choose some nice little details right there. And after you create your class, you're able to, you've got a couple options. You can just give students instructions to join the class, or you can actually create accounts for them, which is really awesome. You can just type in the credentials you want them to have. And then even their password right there. And then simple like that, you can add more students, as many students as you want. And you automatically, now that student is able to log into Formative, and now they have an account, right? So they can just log in with that information. And for any student, you're able to, this is a big just time saver. Instead of messaging us or waiting on us to reset passwords, now you can simply just reset passwords on your own. Which, believe me, I often forget my own sample student passwords, so it's so useful for me as well.
I can see all four of us nodding as soon as you said that. Like, absolutely, we're all thinking, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. So, just a couple new features that make classes so much easier, and then you guys touched on this before, but classes really just does open up so many possibilities with Formative. When you create a Formative, let's just say we've added a couple questions here. You just click on assign here, and then you can pick which classes you want to assign to. And you can pick multiple classes if you'd like. If you just want to keep things simple, you can just assign to them, and you can and because students are in your class, they already have accounts. They can just log into Formative and they'll see their formatives listed under their classes. So they'll be able to just jump in right there. But if you want to go for advanced features available for all teachers, you can pick a class and you can set those advanced features. So I might want to return my scores instantly, which I think I set for you guys, right? So you're able to see your scores update on your end as you responded and as I scored them. You're also able to return scores after a session ends. So what that means is after you decide to end the session just by clicking a button, that's when students will receive scores. Or one of my favorites is now you can return scores and even correct answers, right, as soon as a student presses submit. And so that way, if you have students working at different paces, you don't need to wait on every student to be finished with a formative. You can give them feedback right when they hit submit at the end of it, if that's what you'd like, right? And with that, now you can make it so that after students press submit, the formative automatically locks so they're no longer able to respond to those questions, which is really useful if you want them to move on to something else. So there's just a couple more advanced features here that you're able to use. And then for any teacher that's used our old version, I think just one major update that people will appreciate is now you can see your classes along the top of your dashboard, and you can see what formatives they have currently assigned just by scrolling down. So I can see for this one, excuse my, this is my testing account, right? But you can see I've assigned this to 4 of my classes. and you can even see if it's open for them to take right now, and also how many submissions I've received as the teacher. So before, you'd have to click in the formatives to view that information. Now you can see it right from your dashboard, and you can click in and jump to that class to view their progress on that formative. So, and there's a couple more things here. I think we're coming up on over an hour, but you know, I'd definitely love to share them with you guys, or if you want to wrap up, or if you want to move on to anything else, let me know.
Well, I think maybe if we had maybe another 5 minutes or so, just to kind of wrap it up at a little over an hour there, and then let everybody enjoy their beautiful July day. But yeah, if you've got maybe one or two more things you want to show, and then we'll call it here in about 5 minutes and kind of give some final thoughts. I think that'd be perfect.
Sure. Yeah. So just from your dashboard, there's a couple more just things that make your experience a little bit easier. You're able to select multiple formatives, and going back to the idea of the library and sharing resources, you can easily display the information you need to share those formatives with other teachers. So you can just give them that link, and they'll be able to grab that formative, copy of that formative, or a quick code. And then an advanced feature as well is being able to actually add in a sense at the very basic level right now, just a co-teacher to that formative. So they're able to, you can type in a name right here and look up a user. They're able to edit the formative and act on the live responses with you. It's very basic right now. It's premium. We have a lot to work to go with it, but just to show you, we're starting from somewhere. I guess the last piece I'd like to touch upon is we've been talking about free versus premium. We actually have a trial available till this Saturday. So less than 3 days left, like 2.5 days left. You can, or I should say over the next 2.5 days, you can sign into Formative and visit your profile, and you can just sign up for a free trial of Premium Teacher just by clicking here. And it'll ask for your billing information, but it's not actually going to charge your credit card during your trial. It's kind of like Netflix or something else, where if you enjoy it, at the end of the trial, you'll then be charged for an annual subscription, which will start then, and then you can enjoy that. Or if you want to cancel your trial, you can just message us, and we can cancel it. So feel free to sign up today. And there's also a couple promo codes out there. I think Avra and Ben, I might have dropped the ball on giving you guys a promo code, but I can send those to you after the meeting. And there's a couple more on our Twitter page that we've retweeted. But if you grab that Twitter promo code, or you grab that promo code, you can actually enter it here to start. And it's just, I'll post this on Twitter again in a little bit, but you just visit this page, you enter your promo code, and what that'll do is it'll ensure that after you sign up for a free trial, you also get a voucher for free PD. So we'll be able to work with you and provide a video conferencing PD based on the level of experience of your audience. So just a couple. That's I'm very happy to be able to share this all with you guys.
Yeah, it's been great. Very informative for me. You know, I've used you guys. I love using you guys. So this has been very insightful. Any of the EdTechTeacher folks have any final thoughts, or we're ready to kind of wrap it up and say thank you to everybody for watching?
Yeah, I think it's been a great webinar. Thanks so much. I appreciate everybody chiming in with your expertise and your Spanish, Anissa, and I just and David. That was really fun. I got some of my questions answered. I learned some new stuff, and I really appreciate everybody that joined us. And the chat was great. It looked like there were a lot of great conversations going. In fact, I couldn't even keep up with all of it. So, thanks everybody.
Yeah, I haven't been able to take a look at it, but I'm excited.
There's a lot out there. Yeah, great ideas. Lots of educators out there sharing ideas with one another. So it's fantastic.
All right, very good. Well, thank you guys, and thank you for watching. And this will be recorded and archived on this YouTube channel for forever. It won't go anywhere. So if you want to share this with friends, you can just share the link, and as soon as I hit stop broadcast on the live thing, it's going to archive itself and be available to be viewed whenever they need to. So share it out and enjoy, and thank you everybody for attending. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.